The pandemic has changed many aspects about our lives, such as restaurants, for example. Now, many businesses have had to change a lot about their operations. And here at Camino Real Kitchen and Tequila, you'll notice those changes as soon as you sit down, because instead of being handed a menu, all you have to do is scan your phone right here. And that menu pops up right on your phone. But that's not the only changes. I spoke to Alejandro, the owner, who says the restaurant industry is changing. And it's not just customers who are going to see it, but employees as well. Alejandro Ocampo has worked in restaurants since he was 17 years old. Now he owns several of his own restaurants that are family owned and operated in Bakersfield, such as Bakersfield Pizza and Vita Vegan, one of the few vegan restaurants in town, and Camino Real Kitchen and Tequila, a Mexican-inspired eatery. Although he's been in the restaurant industry for 12 years now, he says he thought he had been through the hardest of times until COVID-19.
We opened on May 10th, the week that the housing market started to crash here in California. We survived the worst of economic times that I could even think of, right? Never did I fathom that COVID would be another one.
He says his family had been through a crisis but didn't foresee a pandemic, which has brought back troubling memories.
It takes me back to when we opened Camino Real. I lost my house, my brother lost his house. And that's the actuality of owning a business.
And the ups and downs were more than financially stressful, but emotional.
It was very, very hard for us that whole time, for our family, like uncertainty. Like, we remember just knowing the PG&E guy on a personal basis, or the sheriff's office when it was eviction time. We were there.
Alejandro says they've almost lost the restaurant and they wouldn't have made it if they didn't have family support. However, the uncertainty surrounding COVID-19 has made him fearful of the possibility it could all happen again.
These last 2 months have been very difficult for us, and it is scary to think that some of our businesses were on the verge of closing because we weren't going to be able to make it.
His brother Fernando runs the finances and makes sure the businesses are on track and reinvesting their money back into the businesses.
But honestly, if we weren't so smart about saving money and just putting it away for emergencies, we wouldn't have survived the first month.
According to the National Restaurant Association, the restaurant industry, more than any other industry in the nation, has suffered the most significant sales and job losses since the COVID-19 outbreak began. Alejandro says even before COVID, he saw the restaurant business changing because of the increases in food and labor costs, and realized his own businesses had to operate in a more efficient way.
I foresaw this happening, and that was one of the main reasons that we did Bakersfield Pizza. Just because of higher labor cost, it's making it difficult to be a full-service restaurant. So the fact that COVID is making a lot of restaurants do this, then I think it's going to be easier for a lot of big businesses to survive where labor costs keep going up. I mean, next year we're going to $14 an hour. Labor increase means food increase. So from a business perspective, it makes sense to be more of the fast casual counter service.
According to the National Restaurant Association, 2 out of 3 restaurant employees have lost their jobs. And Alejandro says that after COVID, he feels having servers may be a thing of the past.
I think that's the future of dining out, is not having the servers. 5-10 years from now, who knows if we're gonna have full service. I mean, full service will be considered like, ooh, fancy.
And he also thinks that table service restaurants may also be gone too.
Ultimately, I foresee it more fast casual, Chipotle-esque style service where the food gets expedited to your table.
In a recent national survey conducted by the National Restaurant Association, they found that over 8 million restaurant employees have already been laid off or furloughed since the beginning of the coronavirus outbreak. Before COVID, all of Alejandro's restaurants combined staffed about 100 employees, but during the pandemic, his staff went down to about 30. And now that his restaurants are reopening, he says that he's made every effort to keep as many staff members employed as possible, even though it meant some changes.
We've already talked to a lot of the staff about, instead of offering them their 30-40 hours a week, we're going to be doing like 20 to 25 hours, so we could split the hours and offer everybody 3 to 4 days each instead of offering their 5-6 days.
And for right now, he will be able to employ a total of 70 employees. Although many restaurants have reopened, Alejandro says they have decided to wait until next week to make sure that they implement all of the correct safety regulations and proper training of staff. He says Camino Real will be taking a mixed approach when it comes to serving customers, which will include curbside, counter service, and for now, full table service as long as they can sustain it. Alejandro says he does see the restaurant going to full counter service sometime in the future.
I don't look forward to when we no longer have that personal interaction.
He says not being able to bring back all of his staff has weighed on him.
At the end of the day, my staff is the foundation to the success of our businesses, and we owe a lot to them. We owe a lot to each of them.
And not having the support of his restaurant family has been hard, especially because they've played a big role in his personal life, such as allowing him to have the time to be a father.
Even just Pablo, Tony, everybody here at the restaurant, and at Bakersfield Pizza, my head chef Dennis, and Javier at Vida V. There's just so many people, and it's hard to put it in words. The opportunity that they provide for me to be home with my family. Forever grateful.
Next week will be the first time in nearly 2 months that the restaurant staff is all coming together. He realizes the safety of his staff and customers is in his hands. And when it comes to wearing a mask in his restaurants, staff will be required to wear them, but customers will have a choice.
Ultimately, if the community or the world as a whole does the right thing, like if you're feeling sick, stay home, self-quarantine. Think about others. Think about the people around you, A lot of us have, me personally, I have kids I want to go home to. And that worries me.
But masks won't be the only change. They are hoping to get approval for more seating on sidewalks since capacity inside is limited. And menus will also look different.
So you could just scan it, and on your phone, you could scan through the menu options, our happy hour menu, our dessert menu. And then we'll have some printed menus as well if people don't know how to use the QR.
But that's not the only changes coming to the menu. There will be some price adjustments.
So yes, the menu does reflect some price changes. We had to take menu items out that we could no longer carry just due to them being too expensive.
And he says without the community supporting them during this time, they wouldn't have made it.
So a lot of our success is our community. And we're hoping that a lot of these small local restaurants, that a lot of the community can continue supporting them through these difficult times. And
he says the future depends on listening and valuing the customer's needs to create an enjoyable environment, because the future of the industry will continue to change.
And if anything, COVID has given us a foresight into the future of what dining might be. I mean, maybe 10 years from now, people aren't going to go out to eat. Maybe it's going to be drones.
Now, coming up at 7, Alejandro talks about why you might pay more when dining out, especially when it comes to beef. Reporting in Bakersfield, I'm Alex Bell for 23 ABC News, connecting you.